In your mind, what is the most important thing to a business aside its fulfillment? Leads, lead generation, prospecting. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you here in this workflow. And it's pretty straightforward, but what we do at C&C Strategic is pretty unique. And we're not running paid ads. We're definitely leveraging personal networks, but we're pretty much generating low cost leads with this exact model. And this is exactly what we use for our clients. So it's all AI powered. And Appify is a huge resource here, aside this node that I took off, which is Perplexity. And I'm just going to walk you through what this is here. It's pulling from a list of leads. So it's pulling the rows, and then it's taking the list of information from the lead list and running it through Appify. And Appify is right here. Appify basically will scrape LinkedIn and not affect your LinkedIn profile whatsoever. So you're safe. It'll scrape it, it'll take all the information and give you proper context on the people you're looking to target. And you're probably wondering, what do I get people for my spreadsheet to even target? We're going to go there next. Don't worry. And I have a very simple string of code here. It's actually not that simple, but a string of code. This template's going to be available in my school community that you guys can access in the bio below, beta access only. And then it goes through this AI model, and basically I prompted it as such. And I attached, I think it's 4.1 mini here. And it's going to parse this information out for me. And it's going to create a email campaign for me within instantly. And if you're like most people, you're probably thinking, what the heck is instantly? What the heck is Appify? What is Perplexity? Don't worry. You guys can research it, figure it out. It's really not too hard to find information about these topics. So within my campaign, basically the workflow, as we see here, it's going to push people from, once it generates a custom icebreaker, a custom message, or something unique about the prospect, it'll send it to instantly, and it'll add it to a campaign of your choice. And now the campaign is going to have more fields here like the icebreaker and some other personal information that my workflow will add upon sending the prospect to instantly. But essentially, if we open it up, we go to sequences, icebreaker is a field, and this is just a template I built. And basically, the first email will go out as such with the proper custom icebreaker that the workflow builds for us, because it's close to impossible to look into 1,000 companies within a day or even a week and get all this proper context. The workflow is what we use to actually gain context on these people and make it look like that we actually done our research on them. We really haven't. So we just end up having a first email that goes out, second email that goes out, and this is how we're going to get data. And you can send thousands and thousands of emails and review the data and split test and gain a lot of really good context as to what your audience is really looking for. So this is huge for those of you who are looking to generate leads for your business using AI. Context here, you're going to have to sign up with them. It is paid, and you do have to warm up these domains with them in order to send out the content. So forewarning, this is a process, but this is the system I go about and I use to actually make this whole thing work. Now, I made another video using Straight Text, which is this app over here. Drag it, Straight Text, and I generated leads through Outscraper. Now, this is probably better, but it's way more expensive. And basically, all I did here to generate the prospects to add them to my list was build out the filters of companies I was looking for. So we're going to do this together real quick. We're going to scroll down and we're going to look at just a couple things that I believe are pretty important. And one of which is industries and keywords. This is the main industry. This is like the sub niche. So maybe like we're looking for commercial real estate or something else, right? Like certain type of niche, and then the specific type of business within that, right? Replace it with your keywords, right? I'm not going to go too deep into this. You guys can mess around with it. A lot of these other things down here, I wouldn't look too deep into. I would look into the industry and keywords. Numbers of employees, I like to target between 51 to 200. I think this is a good range. And I like to look at job titles. And I like to include roles that are operational. You don't target the CEO because they might be caught up in other things. You want to target managing partners, operating officers, people within those roles because they're more active in the business. Maybe somebody who's in charge of hiring, right? So take a look at the job titles. And the last thing I want to show you is the location. So if you could do all across the states, you could do, right, like real estate, commercial real estate agency, or real estate builders. Maybe you're looking to target builders instead within that real estate niche. And to actually focus down and not get a list of maybe 20,000, you could just target 3 states, 4 states. So you type in your states and it would ultimately bring this number down. And all we're looking to do is click this, select all, click apply. Okay. And what we would do is we would click export. So we'd click this and we could do that. You'd click next. It'd say verified emails only, which is probably what you want. Once you've exported it, you're going to look for the settings and imports and exports, and you're just going to simply download it and then upload it into a Google Sheet, which I'm going to show you next. Without exposing all my leads, I've set it up this way, and I just kind of put the headers the way that I wanted it, right? First name, last name, title, company name, email, seniority, all that good stuff. And the original list that you're uploading into or attaching to your NAN workflow could just be the general sheet that you get. So it's more important to look at the actual fields that you're feeding into the next step of the next nodes within NAN. And I'm going to show you next. This is a recent execution we did today. So it's going to pull the sheet and look at the data. Zoom. Okay. And it's going to give me all the records here, appeals from the spreadsheet. And then let's zoom in. Appify. So Appify is going to get all that good data here. And they all the same data. Let's see. This code from this workflow is going to pull the relevant data that we really want from this. So we attach only the fields that we want to pull into this. And that way we don't get bloated amounts of information. And then we use this LLM, which is AI, and you would go ahead and put a prompt, something similar to this, how to write it, what to look for in the profile, just things of this nature to craft the custom icebreaker, examples of what don't work, what does work, how to really craft something legitimate. I'll show you guys a slight idea here, icebreakers that it feeds out. So with every prospect, it's going to attach an icebreaker. And that way when it sends into instantly, it'll add the first, last name, company name, their email, and it'll add a custom icebreaker from the LinkedIn scraper. It'll scrape information from their LinkedIn. So this is huge. This is absolutely huge. And Perplexity, when you would use Perplexity is when you would want a more in-depth research of the actual prospect. So not only will it scrape LinkedIn, but you can add the information here, feed it through this, put a merge node, and you can merge that information and feed it through the code. But for this example, we're just using Appify, and you can feel free to add Perplexity if you want that deeper research on the prospects. But in any case, that's really it. Then it would send over into our instantly. We would add it into the right campaign. So for example, if you want to get the campaign ID, you take this, just the number between the parentheses, within the slashes, and you'd add that over here into, this is the API code. And then right here, campaign ID, add that right there. And then you would run it as such, add them in. And if you want to change up your initial text within the sequence, you're more than welcome to do that. And you're able to get so much data doing this. So paid ads, AI lead generation, I think they're both super valid. I think paid ads is more expensive. I think once you get an ROI on your initial advertising, if you don't have a huge budget for paid ads, it makes sense to do something like this. So instead of spending a couple $1,000s to run your paid ads, you would spend a few $100s getting your lead generation system going with something like this. So this is what C&C Strategic Consulting is all about. custom AI solutions. This is just the tip of the iceberg. AI lead generation that we use for our own client generation. And once they respond in our inbox here, we're then, and because these are new campaigns, this is a new campaign we're doing on this domain, or the domains that we had warmed up. But once they respond, they book a call. I put them into my main CRM where I have a whole AI powered CRM handling everything for us. So if you guys would like some more information on this, the school link is down below in the description. You can leave a comment if you have any questions. And I really hope that we can connect, but I'd appreciate any and all feedback. I hope you got value out of this. Like the video and subscribe to see more content like this. See you on the next one.